Ladies and gentlemen, this is Breaker, and I'm back with another replay from the front page of Drop.se, and this one appears to be between Root Sasquatch and Astrea. Now, I decided to take this replay of all the replays and cast it, simply given the fact that, you know, it's got Sasquatch, it's got one of my favorite North American players, but I didn't actually see our TT player in the lower left-hand corner spawning as our pink Protoss. It looks like it's a tournament game. His name is Astrea. And in the upper right-hand corner spawning as our red North American Zerg, his name is Root Sasquatch. Now, I was actually quite surprised to learn that with a simple Wikipedia search on his name, he did actually take part in the 2013 IPL that resulted in... It was an IGN Pro Team League of some sort, and he actually conducted an all-kill, or he was on the team that conducted an all-kill versus FXO Europe. Now, there's one thing that's got my curiosity piqued just a little bit about the TtSEED clan here. I'm thinking they're sponsored by TtEsports, all the same as Root Team is, but even then I can't be entirely certain. But now Sasquatch is throwing out, lol, I'm so happy, he says, blank until I get a seed. Can't believe that happened. Well, let's just wait and see how this goes. I wish I knew more about Astrea, but I actually didn't do a Google search on his name. Couldn't find anything. Couldn't find any information about him whatsoever. Tactics too good. And by the way, in case you guys are wondering why there's such a bonky text right now, it's because I'm using the China server to replay replays because I'm too lazy to turn on my phone and get the authenticator up and running. And of course, I don't need the authenticator for the Chinese client. At least not now, I don't. But it looks like we got Astrea going for what may look to be, yes, it looks like it's going to be a dual Nexus opener. 400 minerals already. So both players already going for a double hatch opener, but Sasquatch already throwing down the gas, and he's going to be following it up with a pool. Unless he's doing, no extractor trick coming from him, but this is definitely going to give him some aggro. He's going to be able to control the map just a little bit better than his opponent, but already Astrea is throwing out the probe to get a look and see just what Sasquatch is up to at home. Once he sees the gas, I'm wondering if he's going to make any adjustments to deal with this appropriately. He's already got the first gateway on the way, and the first gas as well, and I'm pretty sure he's going to follow this up with a second gas relatively soon. And the probe is going in. Second assimilator is on the way back at home. As you can see, there are two in production right here, right now. Sasquatch's pool has been spotted. And I think Sasquatch... Oh, no, he's not even going to check and see if there's a forge down or not. This... okay. You can see up the entire main ramp already. I think that's all he really needs. All the vision he will need anyway. And it looks like Astrea is actually going for a pretty delayed forge. Makes perfect sense right now, really, because he's going to be able to do a 3-gate forward pressure with this, if not a 4-gate forward pressure. This could possibly lead into some kind of an all-in, but I'm not an expert on PvZ by any means, so I may have assessed this in just the wrong essence. And Sasquatch gathers exactly 100 gas, pulls drones off, and starts on metabolic boost. He's also concentrated on getting his macro up, not taking a third just yet. Or is he? That does not seem to be in his playbook right now. He's going to go ahead and crank out 2 lings and see what his opponent is up to. And now, the second pylon is on the way. Excuse me, third pylon is on the way for that whatever number of pylon it is for Astrea. Second one at the choke, and that's going to help just basically wall off the ramp just a little bit more. The third is now going down for Sasquatch. And I think he's just gotten the ling speed to basically control the map a little bit. Mothership core out. A little bit late. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but we're getting rushed gateway tech, and I don't see any more gateways at the front lines for Astrea, so what is his plan with this? I mean, he could be teching up to something, no doubt. There they are. Just a little bit late. Just a little bit later than I had originally assessed. Okay, so right now we got 2 gateways on the way. We have 1 already finished. We have warp gate tech on the way. And what else is going to come? Oh, from our Protoss. Is it going to be a Stargate maybe? Possibly a robot. I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, at this stage, something screams Stargate follow-up about this opener coming from Astrea. And already Sasquatch has assessed that his opponent has 2 Zealots on the way. And now the pylon's been spotted, and that's going to get shut down immediately. And I think the probe that was there to build it, yes, it got chased down and destroyed as well. But, the Lings, they don't really see those Zealots. That's pretty big. 2 pylons being built right next to each other. Sasquatch isn't going to see what's going to hit his third until it's possibly too late. The probe goes in there and sees that there is a third, but there's an empty mineral line. And behind this, we actually have 10 drones on the way from Sasquatch. He doesn't know the danger that he's in until it's too late. The Lings spot the Zealots, but that's just too many of them to take on 1 versus 1. And now we're going to have Astrea trading minerals for minerals and possibly stopping his opponent's income. The Roach Warren is just about to complete, but I don't think he's going to be able to save this third at all. He's pulling the Lings all back immediately. He tried to make a run by at the natural, tried to get his opponent to force a recall, but it didn't work out. The third will fall relatively uncontested, just as a bunch of larvae are ready to go. And now it looks like Astrea is going to take that down and get out. Yeah, probably going to get the hell out of Dodge with that, maybe. Pylon goes down. At least the pylon on the low ground, and I don't know if he actually knows about that pylon on the high ground. That means reinforcements can still come that way. He does. And now the Zealots are basically just trying to barge their way into the natural, see if there's any room for leeway or anything else of that nature. Meanwhile, follow-up seems to be Forge plus Robo, and there is no Stargate to speak of. And that's actually a perfect move, because right here, right now, Astrea can see that there's a Roach Warren from Sasquatch. Double Evo's back at home from Sasquatch, immediately teching up the layer, and he's going to try and retake that third right now. Now he can go ahead and morph these larvae into drones. Ling's moving out, trying to get some control of the map. And true, although neither player had upgrades to begin with, we're going to have a quick +1, a faster +1 attack coming from Astrea, simply given the fact that he's got Chrono Boost. Twilight Council coming down also, so this could possibly yield a transition into a third, if not, you know, even if it doesn't lead into a third, it still opens up the tech path for DTs, Blink Stalkers, Charge Lots, or even High Templar. But I highly doubt that we're going to see High Templar as the AoE of choice on 2 base coming from Astrea, simply given the fact that we already have a Robo. And we're just waiting for the Robo Bay to go down to see this Colossi to get cranked out. And like, if you look at how many sentries there are here, that is a godly amount of force fields that we can see Astrea throw at his opponent. And I think right now, I mean, Sasquatch, what he has to do now is he has to take this into classic Wings of Liberty mode for just a few seconds. Wait, does he have roach speed? He does not. He does not have roach speed. As long as those roaches are off creep, they can be kited by anything that goes their way. 2 hallucinated phoenixes now moving out to scout root Sasquatch, and Astrea is now just parked outside of his natural. That's a lot of stalkers, and Blink is also on the way. But we also have fungal growth, or excuse me, pathogen glands being researched right now. And in 2 seconds, he can start producing infestors. And as soon as he starts producing them, once they pop, they will have enough energy for. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. They will have enough energy for fungal growth. But the question is, are they going to be out on the map in time? Because we already have Astrea's main army moving out, and they've got 30 seconds to pop. And even then, they won't be perfectly rallied. A few Lings going up this ramp, changing their mind, because now they see the imminent danger that is coming their way, and they're not going to be able to save that Overlord. And this is just getting infinitely worse for Sasquatch. He's going to be supply blocked with that Overlord going down, a bunch of Spine Crawlers going down as well. The third is going to be just absolutely torn apart, but it looks like maybe, just maybe, we see Astrea actually maybe opting to go in for the natural. No, he changes his mind and goes for the third. He's going to be able to just recall out of there once he takes it down. Oh, man. And Astrea is so clever at the third, playing those mind games. He threw a probe at it, but he never actually threw down a Nexus, and all these drones are being just absolutely massacred as the third falls. The Infestors waiting patiently for their opportunity to strike, but even once they have that opportunity, we still have a Mothership Core with full energy on it. That means he's going to be able to recall out of that easy peasy, and just as he does that, it's lemon squeezy at the natural. The third can be assaulted right now, forcing a cancel on it, but it looks like Sasquatch isn't going to take that route. Right now, he is down 30 supply. He did force some force fields out of those sentries earlier, Ling's just pecking away at that third, no big deal. And more Lings are on the way for Sasquatch. Right now, the upgrades, +2/+2, are just now going down. Storm as well as Charge on the way, and +2 for our Protoss. I don't know how Sasquatch is going to be able to hold the next wave or not, because, you know, once you have those Storms in the mix, once they've been burned on those High Templars, they'll simply morph into Archons, and Zealot Archon is basically, I think, the best unit composition you can have versus what we have coming from Sasquatch right now. He could probably throw down a ton of Spine Crawlers and see what that does for him later on. And he's got 4 moving out to the front line. He's going to need a Spine Crawler wall to hold the next wave, really. And he's going to need perfect fungal growths. Meanwhile, back at home, more infrastructure going down. Chitinous plating on the way, as we see Hive Tech has already been completed on 2 base for a majority of this game. And +3 attack is now on the way for Astrea. Maybe he's just waiting for that opportunity to gear up and move out. I think maybe the one thing that we can see Sasquatch bring himself back into this game with would possibly be those clutch Baneling landmines, but it would just be so risky because his opponent already has an Observer. Sasquatch's third finally reestablished. It's been taken down twice now, delaying a significant part of his economy. His income's still slightly dubbed to that of his opponents. The question is, where does he move into from here? He's also got a Spire on the way. Perhaps he could be trying to move into Broodlords late game. And more Spine Crawlers will be on the way relatively soon. These gateway units, yeah, they're gonna get surrounded and dealt with eventually, I'm sure. But there's enough Zealots to hold here, like the 300 Spartans at Pantheon. And now it looks like, oh, these Lings, oh, they were right-clicked and they're just basically gonna get totally sacked. No adrenal glands have been researched. And to this point, even no roach speed has been made. And the Lings are going to get pulled out. They're going to try and get that pylon and get out of dodge, but I don't see the point of even destroying that at this point. I mean, that was definitely an imbalanced trade for Sasquatch unless he's trying to gradually throw away his army supply. Warp Prism has been caught on to. Fungal Growth just barely misses that, and this is a huge opportunity for Astrea to just fly into the main and wreck house. Vipers now coming into the mix. Fungal growths are going to go down on this, but I don't know if it's going to... okay, that was all right. Only burned 2 fungal growths. He still used those infested Terrans. Alright, so the question is, what can we see coming from Sasquatch to win this? I think it's going to take... It would take an engagement right here with fungal growths going down on all the army and Blinding Cloud, because then there's no damage going down to the foreground, but already we have High Templar in the mix. So many feedbacks available at his disposal. He's spreading out all of his units right now, and it looks like both players are just looking for that engagement point at this stage. One Zealot gets thrown at that just to see what it's like. And Astrea's like, okay, now's not the time to engage, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to harass him. And now it looks like Sasquatch just says, damn it, I'm going for it! I'm taking you out of this game, or you're taking me out, bro. And this is it. Blinding Cloud goes down on all the Immortals. Beautiful, but at the same time, that is not a valuable engagement point to the Ultras. So he pulls out immediately. It looks like the top right base was not canceled because of all of that. Sasquatch was distracted, unfortunately, and Astrea just staying on top of everything. He does have vision of his opponent's 4th base. It would be worthwhile to send a huge Ling run by at that, maybe 1 or 2 Ultras, possibly. Ling's going to get a couple of kills, and now Sasquatch is significantly behind economically and in upgrades. He hasn't even gotten started on +3 yet. And that's just going to make it more and more difficult for him to engage the longer this game goes on. And his opponent is just being so savage, keeping control of those Zelnaga watchtowers. Finally, he takes control of the northwest one, while the southeast one remains contended by Astrea. More and more Immortals just making their way into the mix right now, and the Archons coming in, and that's going to be, I think, the death knell, but maybe, just maybe, by some miracle with the next engagement, the Broodlords coming into the mix, perhaps, just perhaps, Sasquatch will be able to hold his ground. After all, his opponent doesn't have any air units just yet, even though he is getting that +1 air attack upgrade. Oh no, oh no! Oh no! He's throwing away infestors! Ah, that was a huge misclick by Sasquatch, but nothing too terribly savage and undoable. He still has these two over here, and that's it! If they get feedbacked, then that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for him to seriously engage his opponent. And presently, we only now see the first Stargate on the way with so many Broodlords in the mix, and that's going to make it even more difficult for Astrea to directly engage his opponent. Sasquatch been down a majority of bases this entire game, but if he can crush his opponent's entire main army, then go into the main and just destroy all the infrastructure, he'll be alright, but he doesn't see this! Ah, this Warp Prism is sliding right by him, and it could end up taking down his third. Alright, so it looks like Sasquatch is just going to say, let's go for it. Let's tango, bro. And I don't think these spine crawlers are going to let those zealots get by with too much ease, yeah. And now it looks like, oh, a few zealots are being thrown away at those ultras to try and take them down. Two more ultras making their way into the mix. And hallucinated colossi. Astrea is playing this out Idra style. Alright, so here we go. Oh my god, the yoinks coming down, but it looks like it's not enough just yet. The only anti-air here we have, aside from the infestors, would have to be the queens. And beautiful storms going down, but I think Sasquatch is aware that those colossi are all hallucinations. Blinding clouds going down as well, and it looks like the Broodlords, they're not quite connecting with everything on the ground, but there are still queens here to defend. Ah, the transfuses need to be absolutely miraculous here, and it looks like these ultras are getting surrounded by these zealots. Two left remaining. Still a lot of transfuses on these queens, but one ultra left, and that's about it. The Broodlord still not going to the forward engagement point, and it looks like back at home we have a lot of trouble for Sasquatch as he throws out the GG. I don't know, that last engagement, it was amazing, it really was, but I think if those Tempests had come into the game just a little bit too late, it could have been GG for Astrea. I mean, he would have lost, you know, his third. That would be equal to losing your foot in real life. If he lost his fourth, that would be equal to losing your right arm. But I mean, altogether, this was an absolutely amazing game, guys. So if you liked what you saw here today, just go ahead and click on that subscribe button. This is Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.